Hello, Star Wars fans. Hey, there are 330 days until Christmas 2021, and we've got some fun news to talk about today. There's lots going on in the Star Wars world, enough so that even got Josh Lucas this morning on the Den of Nerds to talk about Star Wars, and he was in this no Star Wars, no cry mode. So it was good to see Josh in a little better mood this morning, and of course talking about some of the latest information to come out in Star Wars. So let me just say good morning. I saw we've got a lot of our regulars here. Everyday Geeks, thanks for being here. And Dale Erdman, got the coffee ready. You need the coffee. Caffeine in the morning is what gets the day started. Very good. Mike Porter, thanks for coming. Good to have your support. And of course, Wu-Tang Wells, our intro maker. Russell, thanks for being here. And Gray, wonderful. So a little bit of news. Just want to share, start to get some traction. And next Monday, we've been kind of alluding that we're going to. There's a Magic Maker. Hello.
Hello. Sorry, got delayed.
You made it.
I did.
So we've been talking about doing a panel discussion on the Light of the Jedi, the novel from the High Republic. And this coming Monday, we are going to have Gray here, as well as myself. And Reefer Man Reviews is going to join us. And we have another very special guest who's going to join us on Monday. We're going to have none other than Lord Callus himself. Lord Callus is going to join us, and we'll be doing the stream in the evening. It'll be 7 p.m. Eastern, so mark your calendars, get ready. Next Monday, we'll do a live stream, a panel discussion, deep dive review with spoilers on the Light of the Jedi, and getting different perspectives, takes on what worked, what didn't, the high points, low points, and all of that. So look forward to that next week. And JT, welcome. Thanks for coming. Very active in Discord. Good to see you here. Thanks. And let's see, who else do we have? Park Outdoors. Good to have you here. And while we just saw, hold on a second, my stream jumped. Mark Hamilton. Mark's on here. Discord. I'll bring up in the description here. I've got the Discord for a Magic Makers channel, as well as for the new Discord server that Mark has helped us get up and running. And Mark is the most active content provider within that. But it's all things Star Wars. And you'll see in the description here a link to that. And I'm sure Mark will probably throw it in the chat a couple times during the stream. But in that chat, you're able to interact with me to talk about what you might want to talk about from topics, what point of discussion in our next live stream. And while I bring that up, tomorrow there's a Fan First Friday. It's a special event for Star Wars 50th anniversary celebration. Hasbro Pulse is having a live reveal at 11 a.m. Eastern. We're going to cover that live here. And I'll be live streaming during that event, and we'll be discussing the items that are revealed and the pre-orders that come up, where you can get them, our recommendations for that, and how you can find it. So, and I also have an unboxing to do. So I've got right here in my hands a box from Dorkside Toys, and we'll be opening that tomorrow and discussing what is in there. It's another Mandalorian vintage collection figure. So we'll do that tomorrow here. And let's see, who else do we have? Points to Mike Porter for spelling it. Russell. So let's see, who else? Anybody else? I just make sure I get caught up. There's the link. There's a link to Discord. So everybody, good to see you here. And today on the stream, we are going to be discussing the possibility of having a live action Cad Bane, as well as other bounty hunters. And I just saw somebody else pop in, Phil, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Oh, Phil, good to have you here. Yeah, so we've got live action Cad Bane potential. It's a lot of stuff going around on that, and believe it or not, a magic maker and I have different opinions. I know it's hard. I know.
Forbid the case.
Who would have ever guessed that we would have differing opinions on anything? So not only Cad Bane, I put Cad Bane up there because I love him so much, and I know Magic Maker and I have difference of opinion on him showing up. But we'll be discussing some of the other bounty hunters and other characters coming over from the animated series, different series, into live action, and who we might see, who we wouldn't, and all of that kind of thing. So, Phil, I don't know how to feel about that at the moment. Well, hopefully we will influence your thoughts one way or another, or maybe at the end you still just won't know what to feel about it. So,
I love Cad Bane. It's not a matter of not loving Cad Bane. I think he's pretty awesome, even though he's a little OP in some of the Clone Wars aspects, but I still enjoyed him.
Yeah, Gray and I share our deep affection for Cad Bane. I love him so much, and I know Gray and I are on the same page with Cad Bane. So this is so we're going to talk about the unfinished arc as part of that discussion. I've got it up here ready, and that's one of the things that we will be discussing. So there's a couple things. So let me just bring up. We can make this smaller now. We don't need that much screen space reserved. How do I do that? Let's see.
They're right. I mean, the unfinished tales of Clone Wars are just that. They're unfinished tales, so they're not canon. They were never put out there to become canon. So, I mean, people who say that, well, I mean, yeah, sure, he died in those unfinished arcs of the Clone Wars, but and that was intended. And you have your argument that he didn't necessarily die, but I think he was intended to die, and that's why he didn't show up in the original trilogy, right?
Well, you tried to get me there. No, but we can say that there's a dent in Boba Fett's helmet, and that dent was attributed to Cad Bane.
Right.
And that dent is in Boba Fett's helmet. So that even though the unfinished story arc hasn't ever aired, was never finished, and we'll review that in just a moment. I've got it just for anybody who's not seen it. We'll bring it up. It's only it's less than 3 minutes long, so we can put that up here for folks just to get caught up. Even though that's not in the published canon, the dent is. And the dent has been attributed to Cad Bane. So the question is about Cad Bane's demise, right?
But it was there before Cad Bane was a character, right?
Yeah, because it was there in the original trilogy, but there was not a reason given, right? And so the reason for the dent was given by Dave Filoni, that it was put there by Cad Bane. So here, let me just bring this up for anybody.
In the unfinished arc, but so there's no canon attribution as of yet. Correct?
That's right. So let's just let's play this for anybody that's not seen it, and then we'll everybody be on the same page. So here we go. Let's get this up.
Bang! I wouldn't be so hasty now, boy. Let them go, Bane. This isn't their fight anymore. Always fighting for those in need. That's a quick way to wind up poor or dead. No more innocent people are going to die. All be locked up, all live in fear. Looks like your little insurrection has failed. Now surrender. I'll let your friends walk away. I say, they give the kid his shot. So that's it. Just you and me then. Yes, it is.
There's the dent. So there's the scene for everybody, and the question comes down to when you see. I mean, if I see if I can back it up to the point where you see them fall. There. So right here you see Boba Fett falling, his helmet coming off. You see Cad Bane falling and his hat flying up. Supposedly both of them taking a hit right to the noggin, and the helmet is what kept Boba Fett from being killed. And the question is this hit to the noggin that knocked his hat off a lethal hit? Well, so we know that the dent came from Cad Bane, but what about the rest of it?
Well, so my interpretation of that was that they're both, like you just said, both headshots. So they both went for headshots. If Boba wasn't wearing the helmet, his would have been a kill shot. And so that says that Cad Bane, who has no helmet, is not alive.
Well, unless it was a grazing shot and just knocked that hat off. I mean, you watched Westerns.
Sure, but I don't think that a Boba who was going to stand up and have his helmet and presumably Cad Bane doesn't stand up, I don't think Cad Bane walks away.
Well, there you go. So there's where you end up with the debate. And just so you all know, I put a Twitter poll up, and we've been watching the results of the Twitter poll. Let me bring it up here again, just for anybody, and we'll see where it currently stands as far as our votes. Here we go. I'll put it up here. We have 21 votes, so not a super majority, and of course it's on my channel, so you have to take that into some account. But we've got 81% saying yes, Cad Bane in live action, he'd be perfect. We have 14% saying nope, he's dead. And Imagic Maker is a proud voter on the poll.
Yes, I am.
And then I couldn't help myself. I had to put in that Batman guy, Bane. Is that who? Why would he be in Star Wars? I don't know who that is. So I had to put that in. And so we've got almost 5% who say they don't know who Cad Bane is. And they may have just thought that was a funny answer and picked that because it was most entertaining. So
that's one vote.
Well,
so you have 20 votes. So
yeah, exactly. Okay. I'll have to replace the link in the Discord because I've got the wrong permalink. So we've got that now. So I'll put that in the description. So the whole discussion comes from this LRM online. They put out there that there's rumors of fan favorite bounty hunters going to show up, and that's really all the detail they have. And that comment alone has led to the speculation of Cad Bane. And you can see all kinds of things in Twitter and social media, people wanting Cad Bane. Cad Bane is just super, super popular. People do want to see more of him. But there are a lot of people, and as I said, my poll is a little off because it's probably people who agree with me more. But there are a lot of people who think Cad Bane's dead, and that's just where they are. Hey, Jonathan, good to see you. Yeah, it's sad we didn't get that in the final cut. Been wanting to see, and I think this raises up your point that we were having on Discord before, that maybe they could show this scene in live action.
Yeah, that's what I think will happen. So I personally think they'll show a younger Boba Fett, and in a memory, and where he's dead, and then there'll be some sort of grouping where you see Bossk and Dengar again, and I think you're going to see Hondo again. I won't be surprised that in the telling, as it's told, if it's Hondo that's telling the story, and I think that'd be absolutely hilarious because he's talking about it. And then I took his hat.
I would love to see it, and then to see Cad Bane get up and walk away, and prove to everybody that he's still alive. So there. But and JT raises a good point. With it not airing, did it really happen? And it is a state of limbo. This is a discussion in the Star Wars community quite a bit on the state of Cad Bane, and I think what adds a little more to the problem or the question is the dent in Boba Fett's helmet.
Right. My take is that it didn't happen. I agree actually with JT that there's no canon version of how Boba got the dent in his helmet, and it's not been. So as far as I'm concerned, that didn't happen. So I don't think that necessarily that Boba killed Cad Bane. I'm just saying I don't think Cad Bane is alive unless they want to go back and make that canon, and then add that into the live action, just so that we have closure on Cad Bane. Otherwise, we'll never know, and he'll just won't. I don't think he's going to show up in the live action series. That's my take.
Well, maybe he's been hanging out with oh shoot, purple lightsaber.
Mace Windu.
Mace Windu, yeah, Mace Windu,
because they're friends now.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's canon, right? That they're friends.
Right. Mace Windu and Cad Bane have been out secretly correcting wrongs in the galaxy, in the lower levels of Coruscant, undercover where nobody knows they're still alive. But they're both indeed quite alive and kicking.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense that you would have a Mace Windu is out there doing wrong things, and Cad Bane's out there trying to stop him. Yep, that's what really's happening.
Other way around, or maybe they've joined forces because Cad Bane decided,
No. Cad Bane's totally good now, and Mace Windu's totally bad.
You're hilarious. And I know this is a magic maker wanted me to put this in here just to end the conversation. Right? There's the answer. But no, I think it is unknown, and until somebody is dead, they're not really dead, right? So we don't know if Cad Bane's alive or not. From a canon perspective, there's no definitive solution. All you could do is extract the suppositions, right? So there's a dent in Boba Fett's helmet. That's what did they call that? Item number one in the prosecution's.
Sure. So your evidence, you're entering that into your evidentiary.
Evidence, right? Evidence item number one. There's a dent in Boba Fett's helmet. Number two, where has he been? We have a quite an absence of Cad Bane through the original trilogy. What was he doing?
Right. And that's my entry into evidence. He doesn't show up in Rebels. He doesn't show up in any movies in between there, in Solo or in Rogue One, and we have not seen him up to this point. And we've had some interactions with bounty hunters. So,
well, evidence number three is how old would he be? Could he still be alive, age-wise, during the era of the Mandalorian? Considering his age in he doesn't appear to be a young man in the Clone Wars, right? So how old could he be? How old could he work? And all of that.
Right.
They said Cad Bane worked for the Empire after the Clone Wars. See, there you go. Could Cad Bane create another schism in the fandom? Well, absolutely, because the Magic Maker and I can't be friends if he's dead.
That's right.
No. no. It probably.
I mean, if he's alive, our friendship's over.
Oh, no, I said the other way. So that's it. I mean, this whole thing's over.
That's it. We're done.
The Cad Bane schism. Split the fandom. There could be some argument, but no, I don't think this is the kind of fun thing that fans can get into. Mike Porter just voted. Oh, did our percentages change? Let me see. What do we got now?
It should slightly.
We're almost 82% now. So there we go. I'm gaining votes. So we've got Cad Bane. And the answer is yeah, he could be alive. It's not beyond the race, the species to be alive. He'd be geriatric for sure. But look at Clint Eastwood. He is too, and he's still quite an effective actor. And
but he's no bounty hunter. Even in Unforgiven, which I think was like 92. I mean, he was showing his age.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking of. Unforgiven, right? So in Unforgiven, he's an old man, and he's still able to.
Right. That's 30 years ago.
Well, but the point is, like, the actor was older, so Cad Bane could be older, but he could still be effective, right?
Right. But I mean, I think people are thinking of Clint Eastwood as you see him now. I mean, it's like so. Let's see, Clint Eastwood of Gran Torino, which is still now 10 years old.
Yeah.
And I mean, even that is an old, fairly old, decrepit, Clint Eastwood. He's not flying around with his rocket boots, shooting up and posing any threat for Boba Fett. It's just not happening. Be like, you know what? I'm gonna let you go because I respect my elders. Sorry, Cad.
Well, no, I mean, Cad Bane's ruthless. He's a great character. I mean, he deserves to be. If you're going to have a Western bounty hunter TV series, I think it does injustice if you don't have Cad Bane as part of it. Like, he is even in that cutscene, there's a old fashioned Western draw, and that's just Cad Bane.
Oh, without a doubt. I'm not saying that he's
the
not,
dust,
but I mean,
the hat.
There's other cowboy characters too. I mean, just like you can bring you can bring in other characters from Clint Eastwood and John Wayne and other movies. So I mean, we already have the grandson of John Wayne playing the body double for the Mandalorian, right?
So Park Outdoors brings up Embo's name, and I know that we have a couple of huge Embo fans as part of the community. So, Embo could show up, and then Trev brings up a good point, right? Like, we could get it in the Bad Batch.
Yeah,
Bad Batch.
I would say you're more likely going to see Cad Bane in Bad Batch than anywhere else.
And JT, call me selfish, but bring them all in. Oh, absolutely. I think JT, I'm with you. Bring them all in, absolutely. And then Hondo. I think Hondo is a ringer.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to come in because he's just a fast talker.
We're right, and he's a lovable pirate, right? He's alive, and we know that he's a fixture down at or over or wherever you are from geographically to Galaxy's Edge.
Right.
Hondo Naka's got to be. Right, he's got to show up, right?
Yeah, I see them, bringing him in. I mean, he's got to become part of the main story, as it were, so that when you go to Galaxy's Edge, you are part of the story of. I can see them changing that piece over to the Mandalorian, and having periods where they run through. I don't know who I talked to before, but they talked about the conversion of Galaxy's Edge over, and how you could have that with Tatooine, and I can see that happening pretty easily, with some easy changes.
Yeah, I think so too. I just don't think they'll make it Tatooine. It makes it easier to keep it Black Spire, and then just bring that into the other shows too. But either way, that could happen. Let's see, get caught up. I saw some. We'll get to Han Solo in just a moment. But thank you, Super Saiyan. I have that up. We'll review it when we get there. Let's see. Polyhedral Paradise. Hello. Oh, thanks for joining us here. Yeah, Star Wars doesn't really do flashbacks, but Park. I think they're fixing to. From everything we've heard in the Obi-Wan series, it looks like there'll be plenty of flashbacks. So. They don't do a lot of them, but I think they're going to be doing more. The voice of Brainiac in animated Superman, voice Cad Bane, he could come in and play him in live action.
Well, they've already done the flashback in The Mandalorian. I mean, that's the story was being told by Cad Bane, how he got the armor.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I want to think that there were others as well, but maybe it's because I watch. But like the Clone Wars animated series wasn't released in chronological order, so maybe my head's putting that. I'm trying to work it out.
I mean, I get it that George Lucas didn't do it with either the OT or in the PT, but it has been done. First, we started with the Force-back vision, and now we're having some stories told past-wise. I mean, the first time it was introduced in the movie-wise was in. I mean, I did it fairly chronologically, but we could almost say it was a flashback, and that was kind of how they introduced everything in Rogue One, because they immediately did a big jump to the future.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of Force Awakens when Rey grabs that lightsaber, but
right. No, that's why I said Force-back vision. That was the first time it was introduced.
Yeah,
where we had the pass, and then and then in Rogue One they kind of do it because you have that big jump to the future. So
sure. Sure. Comic book steals and deals. Good morning. Let's see. Get caught up. The Fandom menace, like Cad Bane.
Fandom menace.
The Fandom menace.
But no, I think if you're going to have anybody show up, I think it'll be Bossk and Dengar and Hondo. Those are the ones I think are more likely to show up. The reason why I say that, and I expect to see an IG-88 even. So just because we've already seen IG-11, and it's basically the same frame as an IG-88. So they already have that technology. Those are the things I would expect to see. I have actually been wondering with the Book of Boba Fett if they're setting up the Legends Bounty Hunter Wars. That was originally occurring during the original trilogy. And so that was with Prince Zizor, and so I'm wondering if they're kind of shifting that, and that's being brought in, and so they're kind of making that canon, but slightly after that period of time, setting it up during the post Return of the Jedi period.
That'd work. That'd actually work if they were to do something in that runs parallel, and then Cad Bane lives. Cad Bane's alive.
In the original Legends portion of Bounty Hunter Wars, Cad Bane didn't exist, if I remember correctly. I mean, I could be wrong, but but yeah, it was all focused around, like I said, Prince Zizor and the Black Sun at that time, and the play inside the for power within the underworld, and so I could kind of see that playing out, and I think that'd be really really interesting setup to move us into the return of what occurs into the Heir of the Empire series and all those, because I think you could definitely set some conditions up that bring us to those points.
Oh, sure. And and Mark, I'm with you. Mark's talking about adding some of these characters. That this could be a huge cash grab for Lucasfilm to add some of these characters into the live actions just so they can re-release them. He mentions here in the Black series, but if you could package them on a card that says The Mandalorian, then you can release them in all of the collections. So you can get them in the Vintage collection or in the Retro collection, the Black series collection. Get Embo, get Cad Bane. You know what I would do to get a Cad Bane Mandalorian or a Cad Bane live action? Like I want to get an Ahsoka live action. Oh my goodness. Oh
yeah, I just see the see your Cad Bane with his cane. He has his cane revolver.
You shush it. Gray, I love Black Spire. We talked about this before. I think that we're going to start seeing Black Spire outposts show up everywhere. People are going to be stopping at it in all the series. You'll see it show up in movies. You'll see it show up in animated, live action, everywhere. Black Spire outpost is going to start it, and it just makes sense. Let's see. Kate Blanchett is Satine. Ooh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
That would be nice. Get her with all I can think is Obi-Wan. The actor.
Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor. Ewan McGregor and Kate Blanchett. Ooh, yeah. I would. Yes. Sign me up. Good idea, Mr. Nobody. Let's see. Why did Cobb Vanth lie about how he got Boba's armor? We don't have the full answer to that. I don't know that he necessarily lied about it. He just didn't tell the whole truth, which could be seen as a lie. But anyway, that's it. And this is Trev going off of what you were talking about there, a Magic Maker with Zizor in the Bad Batch of Kenobi. Could we get some Zizor? That'd be great.
I think we should get some. I mean, I would assume that after Maul fell out of his power position, that you would have Zizor and those come back.
Yeah, so. and Trev, yes, Satine's dead, but casting. Oh man, my brain today is terrible. Getting flashbacks in Kenobi of Anakin and Darth Vader. I think the only reason you bring in the actor there to portray Anakin is flashbacks. Right. Otherwise, you don't need him. And I know a lot of people are excited about it. So yeah, if you're going to do Clone Wars flashbacks in Kenobi, then Satine absolutely could fit in as part of him going back and reliving things. So yeah, it would be a dream, right? It'd absolutely be that. So other Kate Blanchett's too old for Ewan McGregor at that time. Oh
yeah, I think so too. I think you're going to find someone that's in their 30s because when he's remembering her, she'll be around 35.
Yeah, you'd have to have. Well, Hayden's. Yeah.
They'll de-age. They'll de-age Hayden.
Yeah. Then as far as the others, Bossk, I don't see why you wouldn't have Bossk. And of course, Dengar is an obvious answer. Dengar shows up all over the place. Why wouldn't he be in? Right.
I mean, I think so. I mean, I don't see. I mean, we have no idea how old Dengar is. We don't know what his. He's got that wrap around his head. We have no idea.
Right.
At this point in time, it's only 7 years later. So I mean, we should assume that he's there.
Yeah. And then Embo. I know Embo is a popular one, and I don't see why not. So I'm absolutely on board with all of them. Absolutely. So there's that. Then I wanted to also bring up. There's another story that's kind of made some ruckus, and there's some follow up on it. And let me just bring this up here. Dengar is supposed to be in Tross. Really? I don't know that I've seen that, but it wouldn't surprise me. So there's this story that is on the direct. It's about Lucasfilm. Mark Ratz talks about the Rise of Skywalker and fan backlash, and this has to do with he's the poster maker guy. So of course we talked about this poster that he made earlier this week. We talked about it earlier this week. He made the poster some time ago, but where they replaced Ahsoka in there, and so that was by the studio. And what he talks about in here is that as an artist, you bring your style and you do the work, but ultimately you have to do things according to what your employer wants. And the big thing that came out here is when they removed Cara Dune to put in Ahsoka, it led to all kinds of stuff about, Lucasfilm or Disney's removing Cara Dune from things. She's going to be gone from the show, blah, 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 right? And that none of that's true. And if you watch his full interview about that, he goes, look, don't read into that. They just knew Ahsoka was super popular and they wanted to get her on the poster. And we talked about this earlier this week about how you've got this balance between the left side and right side. And you've got 2 on here, 2 on there, male, female, and so on. So you would not necessarily be talking about replacing Cara Dune or as Trev says, diminishing Cara Dune. That's not necessarily true. I doubt they're going to remove Cara Dune from Mando or the plans to use her in some of the other series, the spinoff series. I think she's going to be around, but it leads to the speculation, right? When you do these kind of things. And he talks about having to replace her. And then he also talked about the backlash from Rise of Skywalker. And I think a lot of people are familiar with, I thought this was an interesting quote here. I got to go back up. So it says, it's not like I could have a picture of Mark Hamill or Harrison Ford or Carrie Fisher, because although people know the characters, they don't associate them with Star Wars. I'm like, since when?
No, he's referring to the other characters.
I know.
But he was talking about Solo in that when he was talking about the thing with Solo. It's like all those characters, the only familiar character in Solo with that because he couldn't draw Han Solo as Harrison Ford. It had been drawn as Ehrenreich. That he had to the only one he had available was Chewie. So that's what he was talking about with that quote.
And then we've got the picture. I want to bring it up down here. This is the way that he's talking about from the controversy standpoint. So these are all digital. He talks about these are all digital elements on the poster,
right?
And that you had Finn large and in charge here, but when they released this over in Asia, China specifically. What happened to Finn? Here he is, great big, large and in charge, and then here he's gone. If you look, Han Solo is smaller. Han Solo is drawn out to be larger. So what they did is they drew out these characters to be larger and then put Finn down as a smaller element. Now, there's all kinds of reasons for that. Don't get me wrong. I understand all the political posturing and cultural stuff and the whole bit about being socially conscious if you're going to be social justice kind of folks, and why would you remove it, and on and on and on. There's a great big debate about all that kind of nonsense, but
I would be honest with you, there's some validity to those statements.
Oh, absolutely, there's some validity. Like, if you're going to stand for something, are you going to stand for it, or is it about profit, right? And when it comes down to it, push comes to shove, they'll pick profit over their social stance, right? And that's proven here as well. I think there's some validity to the argument, but what he was talking about is, look, these things happen, right? Like, decisions are made by the studio that the artist has no control over, and as an artist, you need to be willing to do that, and having known artists and filmmakers and things like that that have talked out over time. It's always something like even, well, let's go John Boyega, for example, right? John Boyega decided he wasn't going to do any more big movie studio stuff. He wanted to do independent stuff because he had a thing that he wanted to do. So he said, nope, that's not for me. I'm just going to go my own way. And you see lots of filmmakers do that as well. They use the big box stuff to pay for their passion projects. So the passion projects aren't like blockbuster movies. They're things that artistically allow them to put out there what they want. And then they have to do these other things so that they can pay the bills.
Right. They have to sell their souls so they can pay the bills and other things.
That's right. And as Park Outdoors says, China brings the money, right? That was the attempt, is to get more money by not offending them with any marketing. And Trev is right. They're extremely xenophobic over there. And that's just facts. And now it didn't really work out for them in China because Star Wars still doesn't have a good foothold. But when you see other artistic decisions made, like, for example, replacing Cara Dune with Ahsoka, that's because they know, as Mark said, Cara is cool. She's loved by a lot of fans, but Ahsoka is a different level. And when it comes to seeing how the audience reacted to Ahsoka and how well she was portrayed there was a lot of unknown before that episode. And so once the episode airs, they see the reaction, they see the acceptance. There's like, okay, pull the trigger. Let's put Ahsoka in there instead in the picture. And rather than have Ahsoka and Cara Dune as two figures on here, they left Grief Karga in there, and they put Ahsoka in. So it just makes sense. So that as an artist, you have to deal with those kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, basically, if you're an architect, you're designing the building that people want. If you're an artist, you're going to draw the picture and the scene that people want. If you're a songwriter and you're writing a commercial jingle, you're going to write the song that people want.
That's right.
You're getting paid to produce a product, and that product meets what your client wants, or you don't get paid.
Right.
It's as simple as that.
It is. It really is. And I agree with Mark that Lucasfilm should never have done that to Boyega. And it was it goes back to what Trev said, right? They're xenophobic, and they knew that, and they were trying to up marketing in China specifically. And knowing that they're xenophobic, they're like, well, we're not going to push it. We want the dollar.
That right? Is a very, very political way to say they're xenophobic. To say that. Yeah. I lived in Asia for many years, and I've traveled extensively through. I lived in Korea for 2. I lived in Japan for 1, and I traveled all throughout Asia, and I'll to say xenophobic is not really an accurate statement.
It's putting it mild,
but it's yeah. So
well,
I don't like it. I don't like the fact that there's, but that doesn't mean that people aren't people, and they will, and as a culture they can tend to be that way. But that said, I have a really good friend. Black friend who lives in China, and he's been there for many years, and he operates perfectly fine. He has a Chinese girlfriend and everything, but it's just so individually people are people, but there are things within those societies that tend to be that aren't politically correct by Western standards.
Oh, that's absolutely true. And we've hosted several Japanese exchange students. And just part of understanding their culture and understanding there is no love lost between Japanese and Chinese people. And when they meet in person here, you can see it. You talk about how people will cross the road not to go by somebody that they're scared of, or that they have racist or whatever opinions of. Chinese and Japanese people tend to be that way as well. Like they're like,
it's not just Chinese and Japanese; it's Korean and Japanese, it's Korean and Chinese. It's
right. I just bring that up because it affects our sensibilities as we are, in the West, but their cultures are just locked in that right now, and at some point you have to accept that things are what they are, right, and you can't just change them. And the same's true here. All right, you just can't.
There's some things that are the way they are here that if you were to go over there, they will not accept. I mean, it's just that, right, and they fight it tooth and nail. I mean, like you people in America are crazy, yeah. and so they do look at that. So, and I'm married to a girl from the Philippines. I mean, after I did a stint there, I met her in the Philippines, and right, that led to something else. And their cultures, they love Americans, but I mean, there are things they look at America and go, "What is wrong with y'all?" And,
yeah. And Super Saiyan's correct in saying, why couldn't they just remove Grief Karga? I think again it goes to the balance in the picture, right? You've got two male, female, male, female. You've got land transportation, land transportation. You've got a moon, you've got a sun, you've got 4 X-Wings, you've got 4 TIE fighters, right? It's all about symmetry. And that's why. And I get that Cara Dune is a bigger character than Grief Karga, for sure. But that's not to say that had they done that, it would have created a difference, and then they would have had to dealt with it some other way. Right. So that's how.
But isn't he about on par with Morgan Elsbeth as far as importance during the course of the events?
Yeah, I mean, he's been in 2 seasons, and she's only been in 1 show and 1 season. But yeah,
yeah, but he was only in 1 show, one part of this. He's been in 2 seasons. I get it, but I mean, as far as this is about season 2. This is season 2 poster. That's so right. She was in 1 episode. He was in 1 episode.
Right, and you can see the parallels and even how they're dressed. The chain across the chest,
and they were dressed that way. I mean, so it's he's not changing how they're dressed. So, I mean,
right, and the whole thing was purposeful. And to that point, where you see they didn't change what Moff Gideon's wearing, and you can tell like this matches a lot closer to what Cara Dune's outfit is than Ahsoka's. Right. So there they broke the symmetry because this would have been Cara Dune with that blue-ish kind of chest plate that she has, and that matches Moff Gideon's outfit here. Right. So they did break some symmetry in doing that, but it makes sense why they did. But and Dale's right. The social aspects why people are talking about and prematurely ejecting Cara Dune, right? Like they think that this is Disney trying to literally erase Cara Dune from The Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's what I think. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think that they are.
Right. You gotta have an opposing view.
Oh, sure. I understand you. I understand you. So with that being said, I'd like to talk about Alden Ehrenreich, right? So a news article did come out that follows that as well. Let me pull this back up. And this came up on Giant Freaking Robot, right? They reported it that Alden Ehrenreich will return as Han Solo. He's Han Solo is one of the most beloved characters, so on and so forth. And a trusted inside source, the same one that gave us the scoop about Josh Brolin returning to Marvel, has discovered Han Solo will be making a return in some of the upcoming Star Wars shows. And that includes a series centered around the smuggler himself. So this seems to say that there's going to be a series around Han Solo, not just the one on Billy D. Williams.
Yeah, they should just totally get rid of Ehrenreich.
Ehrenreich. Well,
yeah.
I don't know. I think he's gained popularity over time. Now, this is the other actor.
No, I don't think most people still like him. I think they should have gone with Anthony and Gruber the entire time. That's what they should do. That's what they should do.
Right. And so, and I thought Alden did a fine job in Solo picking up the mannerisms. And Solo as a movie has certainly increased in popularity and acceptance over time. And with all that they're going through now with recasting the characters as younger actors, and all the push there for Luke Skywalker to get replaced, and there's even a deep fake on Leia, and now they're talking about bringing back Alden to play Han Solo in his own series, not just the Lando show, but in his own show.
Yeah, I'm not pro that. I mean, I didn't. No offense to Alden. I mean, I didn't particularly like him in Solo.
Yeah, I think he's more popular than not, and that we're likely to get that right.
I think people haven't had a chance to really give their opinion. That's what I think. I think Solo did not do well. I think people have let it slide, and they're putting it behind them, and I think that's where it's at, and they might try to bring him back, but I don't. I mean, I think it'll be a forced acceptance, not a true acceptance.
I'm not sure, because I think oh, this is funny. So Phil, I agree. The worst part of Solo was L3. I agree. I kind of cheered when she died. There's that. Solo's not. It wasn't. This is what made me laugh. Mark Hamilton, cancel a magic maker. Oh, just kidding. No, that's great. So that's great. No, I think that streaming data alone shows us that Solo has been more popular. And when you start to look at some of the reviews or the likes and things that people are putting on, it is increasing in popularity. Plus, there's the whole hashtag Make Solo 2 happen that has gained quite a following. And in all of that, I think it goes right with keeping Alden in that role. So they want to see all those characters go on, right? They want to see Amelia continue her role. They want to see what happens with Maul as he's with the Crimson Dawn and all of that.
Sure. I mean, I think they want to know these stories, and I'm not opposed to the stories being told. I don't think that's the issue. I think people want another Solo because they want a new story, and they're willing to accept an Alden Wright because he's already been given to them as the replacement. But I mean, I think that had they taken a Gruber from the beginning, I think people would have been more into the Gruber than they would have been into the Alden Ehrenreich. I mean, that's just my take on it, and I think that he has mimicked and done a very good job of mimicking Harrison Ford and his mannerisms in the past, and I think that would have been the better go. But I mean, I'm not making contracts. I don't know. Maybe they're locked into using Alden Ehrenreich. So if they are, then that's what they'll go with.
Well, they did have him signed up for a 3-movie deal. All that,
right? And there's always ins and outs of those things, so that they don't have to fulfill them, and there's different aspects to those places that if they find somebody else, then they can do it. I mean, the studios are in control of what they want to do. I'm not saying that they won't use Alden. I think that if they feel that it'd be more profitable not to use him, they will not use him.
Well, it may be a point, but I think they're locked into using Alden, and if the rumors are true that he's already been signed for the series.
That could be true, because they may be locked into it. It might cost them more money to not have him, so they're just going to do it.
Well, and to keep continuity, right, between Solo and the continuation of the story. If it's truly continuing the Solo's story that was planned through the second and third movie, but breaking it out into series, you don't want to have that continuation change actors.
Right. But if he shows up in The Mandalorian, I think people will throw a fit.
Well, I think so too, because you'd have to age him up a lot.
Right.
Because
They would be like, what the heck?
you could de-age Harrison easier than up-aging Alden or Gruber, right?
I think you could age Gruber because his facial structure is very similar to Harrison Ford's.
I think more likely we're going to continue the Solo story. And Park Outdoors is right. Like he said, I don't know what's with Disney's obsession with Maul though. People love him, and they did a great job in the Clone Wars animated series of back building his story and developing his character, so much so that by the season 7, that duel between him and Ahsoka ranks in the highest of all duels in all of Star Wars. Like it's up there, and his story is extremely popular. And the little drop at the end of Solo in that end scene, you're like, oh, wait a second. And people that hadn't been following Clone Wars now are like, what the heck? Like, what happened? And
I didn't get back. What?
Yeah.
Did nobody die in Star Wars?
Right. Which Cad Bane lives. Hashtag Cad Bane lives.
That's right. Nobody dies in Star Wars. That should be the hashtag.
Unless they become a Force ghost, and that's about it.
That's right.
And then you've got because I won't go there.
Nobody's really gone.
I mean, they could still come up with a way to bring back Palpatine again. Who knows? But I don't think they will.
Please no.
I'm just joking.
Please no.
But Maul's a great character, and continuing that story, that hashtag make Solo 2 happen is popular, and I think that's what's driving it.
Yeah, I think there's probably enough people for a series on, especially with the new technology that they have that's been developed by the Mandalorian to keep it on Disney Plus and make the money. I think I think the cost of production has been dropped significantly by the what the heck is that system called? The surround system. I can't remember what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about. The LEDs,
volume, and stagecraft.
Yeah. And so I think that they're definitely making up. You know, they're going to make this stuff up in the significant volume, and they're going to be utilizing these improves. And I think it's going to keep getting better. This improvement in technology.
Oh, I agree, and you can already see it between season 1 and season 2 of The Mandalorian. It's better, and it's going to continue to get better and better. Movie making, filmmaking's going to be forever changed, which is a great credit to Lucasfilm, ILM, and what they did with the original Star Wars and what they did here. Oh, same, right? Changed filmmaking forever. They did great. And Mark's right here. If the reports are accurate, and we can see Alden and Chewie crossing over from their own show, the Solo story continuing, Solo 2, Solo 3, continuing, and we get more crossover into Lando, we get Crimson Dawn, we get Kira, all of that. But you've got to get everybody signed up, and it appears that they're doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I think as these stories come out, you're going to have more and more. And I think I'm looking forward to more Marvel stuff coming out too. Not to speak of that, but I mean, just because I think having all of these things on Disney Plus is going to improve the total piece. I mean, it'd be nice to go from one thing to the next. Mm-hmm. Finish off a Star Wars, go to a Marvel. Finish off the Marvel, go to another Star Wars. That would, to me, would be, pretty brilliant way of marketing. And so I think that's kind of where they intend to go. And if they have a few more series, then Willow, Lucasfilm could be producing Willow. It's supposed to be coming out, right, too. So I mean, if they're all using the volume or the or stagecraft or whatever these things are called, and then I think that that you're really gonna go from. I mean, you may never leave the TV.
Right. Well, and I don't want to go too far off topic. We got to get some comments caught up here, but honestly, with them having to push movies back to 2022 now, and talking about, even going later and how a lot of these series build on one another. Like DC's got a bunch of movies. They're pushing them all into fourth quarter 2022. And then you got the same problem with Marvel and Black Widow. They keep pushing, and now they're going to have to do some sort of hybrid release. And movie making itself, the blockbuster movies, when you break them up into a series, as long as you can spread 6 or more, you get 2 months of subscriptions from it. And if you can just keep those things coming back to back, and Stagecraft continues to improve in the cost of making movie quality shows like The Mandalorian comes down, forget about it.
Yeah, if you think about it, that's spread over 3 months. When we got The Mandalorian, so
yep.
I mean, that's 3 months of purchasing that. Now, admittedly, you might make a little bit more if I was going to the movie theater, at least gross wise. But I don't think you're making more net.
Yeah, I agree with you. Super Saiyan, given this is they're picking up on us here at Magic Maker, right? Maul's better than your favorite character, Ray Park. So Super Saiyan and Park Outdoors are having fun. Thank you guys. and I do love Ray. She is one of my favorite characters in all of Star Wars. So there, have that. And that's where Park's going right back. Bro, I'm only a prequel era fan, right? So you guys, thank you so much. That was great. Steven Sears, is this live? Yes, it is. Oh, we're live. Hello, Steven. Good to see you. Maul got cut both vertically and horizontally.
Yes, he was quartered.
Steven, we are live. Han Solo's a vision in Ben's mind. The volume. If Favs and Filoni were to bring Alden into Mando, they're going to have to. Oh my goodness!
There'll be some deep faking for sure.
Yes. Get her. I spell like an idiot. Oh, you're funny. And I'm still thinking Maul and Vader could have an altercation in Kenobi.
I'd like to see. I actually want to see a confrontation between Maul and Vader, because to me and it has to happen before Rebels occurs, because when we have the scene on Malachor with Maul, he's like, we have got to go. There's one woman that we cannot defeat.
Right. Well, and he at the end of season 7 of Clone Wars, he wants Ahsoka to go with him to kill. Right. I think Ahsoka and Maul together could have taken him.
Yeah, I mean, but I think at that point they were talking about Palpatine, not necessarily Vader.
And I think they could have. I think they could have taken Palpatine, but that would have been good. Maul thought Kenobi was dead, so it wouldn't make sense. Right, you got to be careful, but it would be great to see Maul and Darth Vader go at it.
Right.
Oh man, yeah.
I don't think Maul is going to face Kenobi until we get to Rebels. I mean, that's him finding out if he's alive. That was the whole point of that. Because it was like the only point of his existence at that point.
And people are worried about the continuity issue of having a rematch between Obi-Wan and Anakin, because when we last met.
Yeah, I don't see that. I think that's all going to be back in flashbacks
or visions, right?
Yeah,
there could be visions of it, but you could have a Maul Vader. There's nothing I think that would contradict continuity by having them go at it.
I think it enhances continuity. Actually,
yeah,
it's one of those moments that would enhance it. I do think that you could have a cave scene, kind of like what happened with Luke and Vader. So you could have a Kenobi and Vader cave scene, and where Kenobi has to face his darkest fear before he can move on. Because one thing is that one of the things we don't get, and there's got to be an understanding is that, and this is set up in the Revenge of the Sith, that hey, we've been learning to be Jedi wrong, and so basically Yoda says, I will teach you, and then how to confer with Qui-Gon so that you can learn the right way to be a Jedi. And And so that it's kind of like they've come to the conclusion that they've been doing it all wrong the whole time at the end of Revenge of the Sith. And so I think in the aspect when it comes to what Obi-Wan's learning in the Kenobi series could be very similar to that. He's basically he's unlearning everything he knows to relearn what it means to be a Jedi. And so you could have once again a cave scene where he has to face his fear like Luke did in Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, sure.
And that would be a Vader. It could be his Vader.
Yeah. Love to see the face-to-face Maul and Vader. Yeah.
I'm just saying that's how you can end up having a Vader Kenobi fight.
Yeah. It may just be visions too. I mean, in visions, you can play that out. And right. That's what you're saying. Even a cave scene, that is a vision.
Right. No,
but
absolutely.
It could be in a sleep as well. And it doesn't have to necessarily be in a force nexus kind of thing.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I mean, but I don't know what's going on in his cave, in his little hovel on Tatooine. Or if there's a dark side cave there somewhere, who knows why he picked where he picked? That's all I'm saying.
Right.
And so there's a lot to explore and a lot that we could potentially get to. And I think it'd actually be kind of cool if he went through a relearning and training to be coming to a resolution with where things have come, and then having to go through that. And if we saw this basically a over a series, him going through his own hero's journey, where he has to go into the abyss and stare at the abyss and come back out.
Yeah.
And I think that would actually be really cool when he has to go through and relearn and understand what it means to do what he has to do.
Oh yeah, it'd be great. So we got a couple comments about Qui-Gon appearing. And so there was that interview with Liam Neeson a few days ago, maybe a week or so ago, where he's like, "Oh, they're still doing new Star Wars? I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah, but he said, as of right now, I've never been asked, but he'd be glad. He'd be
I'm
open
sure
to coming back as Qui-Gon.
Yeah, about 15 minutes later, his phone rang, I'm pretty sure. But outside of that, so there's the discussion, will he appear? And I know Thor Skywalker did a thing about him as well. And will he appear? He needs to appear. You can't. How could you do a Kenobi without Qui-Gon?
That would be a way to avoid questions about it, right? You'd be like, what? Really? They're doing a new Star Wars?
It
I
could
didn't
be.
know that.
I mean, actors fly. That's what they do. They get paid for it. And the good ones do it well. So yeah, it could be that, but no, I from what I gathered, that was truthful, that it was, friends talking, and like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. But at a very minimum, I'm sure that you'll get his voice, whether you get him or not.
Right. I mean, I would be opposed to that occurring and him coming in and training. I think that's, to me, to be somewhat expected, and that if he was telling a slight fib of not knowing that there was new Star Wars, that would be okay as well.
Yeah.
Keep the surprise, right?
Yeah, but I also think that maybe he just doesn't. He doesn't follow Star Wars, and that's not unusual. You see where actors are like, "Well, I was in that movie, but now I'm doing other stuff," and they're never were a deep Star Wars fan. They just go to things as they're paid to go. Hey,
only reason I say something like that is not because he's following Star Wars, but because he's following a friend like Ewan McGregor.
Yeah. And Second Street Marvel, thanks for coming, Trinity. Good to have you here. And then Comic Book Steals the Deal, thank you so much for the compliment. That's very nice. So just here towards the end, I do want to encourage you guys in a couple of things. So tomorrow, again, for those coming late, Trinity, tomorrow we're going to cover the Fan First Friday event from Hasbro Pulse. There's some Star Wars reveals and pre-orders are going to open. We'll talk about those, as well as doing an unboxing. What's in the box? We'll be doing this tomorrow during that, and then I'll post that as a separate video afterwards. And then in addition to that, next Monday, this is a big deal, Trinity. Make sure you're listening. Monday, 7 p.m., Lord Callis is going to join us on a panel. We're going to have Gray, myself, Lord Callis, and our friend Reeferman Reviews. And we're going to do a deep dive discussion, spoiler-filled, of the Light of the Republic, Light of the Jedi, Light of the High Republic, and we're going to have a panel discussion on that. So look forward to having Lord Callis on here again and that discussion. So that's going to be a big deal. I'm super excited about it. And as much as I love Gray, she's vital to my well-being. I love her so much, and it's going to be great to have her on, as well as Reeferman Reviews. So it's going to be a lot of fun. If you haven't read Light of the Republic, Light of the Jedi, you should get on there and do that. And then I've encouraged a Magic Maker, and we haven't talked about it since. There's the other book. Are you and Vega going to try to get into that?
Yeah, we'll probably. We haven't yet. We've been doing some other things, but we'll definitely try to get onto the catching up on the young readers series.
Yeah, there's a young reader book, 8 to 12-year-olds, and we will try to do a review with a Magic Maker, Vega, and myself, and we will do a discussion of that book once they've had a chance to read it. I already gave my short review of it, but we can get into that more. So that's great. And then what else? A Magic Maker. You've been busy over there on your Discord. You guys have been having regular discussions in the fan.
Yes, we do fan fiction readings every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central.
There you go.
On Sunday, and it's a lot of fun. We've gotten some pretty good reads, and I'm excited to get some of them turned into audiobook formats to put out as videos. I really, really want to support people who in their little stories and help get them readers and listeners. And I just think that it's the way for us to become part of Star Wars. And to me, it's really part of becoming part of a story is really how you internalize it and have the truths of it come out to you. One of the things that I am looking also into is the symbolism of storytelling, and how all these things piece together to tell the narrative that we can get even though we may not know it, that helps us get our head wrapped around life actually, and so there's these things appear in story whether we even realize it, and so it's actually really good to have them and how they help us bring out the truth of life. So it's one of the things I've been looking into, and as I've been doing it, I've been curious and looking into doing a video on the symbolism in Ahsoka and her development. So it's actually really one of the things I'm pretty interested in.
That's great. And Super Saiyan, is the comic book good? I have not kept up with the comic series. I do want to get it, but I haven't gotten it yet. And so that's on my agenda of things to do. And for those of you who are into the WandaVision, you're into the Marvel content, I have a very strong recommendation for you. Not only should you be, if you're not following Trinity at 2nd Street Marvel, but you should be following Meta Egg in his content. He put out this video, WandaVision Hidden Magic Easter Egg, how to predict WandaVision with Wanda's powers. This video, folks, if you have not seen it, is wonderfully entertaining. It is fantastic. Will does a great job. Just the entertainment value alone. Even if you don't agree with Will's premises, he does a great job of delivering the content. It is extremely entertaining, and it's also get you to scratch your head a little bit, think a little bit. And I think he makes a very strong argument. So Meta Egg, go check out Meta Egg. Watch this video on WandaVision, Hidden Magic Easter eggs. You will not be sorry. This is just wonderful, wonderful content. So please do that. So check out a Magic Maker. His link is in my description here. His Discord is there. I've updated the Discord link to our Discord as well. We see people joining. So thank you so much for joining. And a Magic Maker, any closing thoughts, words, anything you want to say?
Yes, I wanted to put my vote in on who should play Satine in live action.
Oh, okay.
So Amanda Seyfried is who I put my vote in for playing, and that she's played in a few other movies, but she actually is really pretty, and I think she almost looks exactly like Satine in live action. So we have a flashback. That's who gets my vote.
So let me just share who you're talking about there. Amanda Seyfried. She was in Mean Girls. So you'd like to see her. There you go.
I think she's very pretty.
And Super Saiyan is still saying Kate Blanchett. But I think we talked about the age difference there might not work for her. Oh, she was also in one of the worst Marvel films of all.
Sure.
I do not like those movies. Yes, we'll be streaming tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. We're going to cover the Fan First Friday event. So thank you so much. You guys, you're always wonderful being here. And we will see you tomorrow. And until then, Merry Christmas, everybody. Bye-bye.